being an outcast who's frowned upon by society. She fails to find marriage and sneaks out at night to join the army. Meet Mulan, an eccentric young girl who causes chaos by chasing a chicken all the way to the rooftop. Her father, Zhou, looks on with a mix of amusement and pride, while the villagers frown upon her antics. Mulan's mother, Li, worries that, out of her 2 daughters, Mulan is the one who will struggle to find marriage. But Zhou is fully supportive of his daughter's independence, but still agrees to have a talk with her. He warns her about her strong chi. Your chi is strong, but chi is for warriors, not daughters. He continues to tell his daughter to hide her gift and tells her that he is saying all this to protect her as it is his job. Hers is to bring honor to her family through marriage. We're moved to decades later, when the town of ancient China is under attack from the witch and Hun army. Meanwhile, Mulan is now old enough to get married, and the village matchmaker has found her a suitable match. She is prepared to be taught the qualities of being a good wife. But chaos erupts when a spider drops from the ceiling. Knowing that her little sister is terrified of spiders, Mulan quickly puts a teapot over it to trap it, but gets scolded for her actions. She removes the teapot, and the spider jumps, causing chaos in the room. Mulan uses her quick reflexes and her skills to save the day, but her hair falls in her face, obstructing her view, causing her to fall. The family is called out for not being able to raise a good daughter, and they are publicly shamed. The emperor sends his men to collect men from every household to join the war and fight for his people. Zhou, despite having 2 daughters and being too weak to fight, accepts the call to arms. At home, his wife and daughters try to talk him out of it, but this only infuriates him, causing him to storm out. Li tells her daughters that this time their father may not come back from the war. Mulan goes to check on her father and catches him struggling to hold a sword without trembling. She compliments his sword to break the tension. Then he starts telling her about the 3 commandments on the sword: loyalty, honor, and truth. He tells her that he was once followed by a phoenix and that it will follow him again through this war and the ancestors will protect him. His family shouldn't worry about him. Mulan thinks long and hard about her father until she decides to take his place and join the war instead of him. She steals her father's sword along with his armor and steals his horse. In the morning, Zhou is surprised to find his sword along with his armor missing, but he quickly works out the math to know who took it when he sees Mulan's camp. Her wife begs him to go find her, scared that if the northern invaders find her they will kill her, but Zhou expresses a similar concern that if they expose her, her own people will kill her. He goes to pray to his ancestors to protect his daughter from the evils of war. Mulan rides her horse through the wild, searching for training camp until she finds it, and joins the others, disguised as a man. There she has an incident with Chen that ends with them pointing swords at one another, which gets broken up by the commander. The commander notices Mulan's sword and asks her name. She introduces herself as Jun. The commander then asks her if that's her family's sword, and she responds, saying the sword belongs to her father. At night, the sergeant, in their sleeping tents, orders them to shower because they stink, and asks for a volunteer for night guard duty, to which Mulan expeditiously volunteers, avoiding her identity being discovered by her fellow warriors. She comes back from the night guard duty and takes off her armor once everyone is asleep. She encounters yet another close call when one of the men turns over to cuddle, but she stops his hand from touching her chest and hits him with her elbow, and the man rolls to the other side, cuddling with the other guy, which is kinda sus. In the morning, the sergeant reads them their penalties. Stealing, penalty, death. Bringing a woman into camp, penalty, death. When he reaches dishonesty, Mulan freezes in fear as the man takes a minute before naming its penalty: expulsion, disgrace for you and your family, including your village. And the commander begins to train them how to use swords, shoot arrows, and they are told to carry 2 buckets of water to the top of the mountain with their arms straightened out at shoulder level. No one is able to do this Herculean task, with some even shedding tears. But as time progresses, the team gets better and better with each training. One of the men cheats and spills water out of his bucket to reduce its weight, but unfortunately, he gets caught and receives his penalty: dishonesty, expulsion. During lunch, The boys are reading one of the men's poems and discover that the way he describes his woman indicates he is a romantic. And Chen asks Mulan about his ideal woman. Little do they know they're talking to one. She describes herself, saying her ideal woman is courageous, smart, and that she doesn't care how she looks like, which brings the table to a hysterical laugh. But seriously, boys, she looks beguiling to me. Chen tells her to not let them get to her, seemingly getting fond of one another. In the morning, during training, Mulan loses control of herself and uses her chi. Fiercely challenging her partner, Chen, she attracts attention, and everyone huddles to watch her showcase her hidden talent, earning the commander's respect along with everyone else's. The commander summons her into his office, and Mulan fears that her facade has been discovered when the commander mentions that he has had his suspicions. However, the commander tells her not to allow her father's legacy to hold her back. Back in the sleeping tents, everyone applauds her skills, while pointing out that she smells and needs to take a shower. At night, she goes to the lake to take a bath when Chen almost discovers her secret, but Mulan is rude to him purposefully to get rid of him. Meanwhile, Borikhan strategizes with the Rurans to avenge his father's death on the Imperior, but the Rurans express their concerns about the witch, unbeknownst to them that she is in the room with them, disguised as a bird. Borikhan tells them that the witch works for him, so they shouldn't worry about her betraying them. The witch now understands that she is not as omnipotent in their partnership as she had initially thought. In the coming days, Mulan uses her chi freely, carrying the bucket full of water to the top of the mountain with ease, leaving everyone in awe and jealous. Meanwhile, the witch and Borikhan continues to terrorize the Emperor's city with the Rurans. The training is getting closer to completion, and the warriors have to take an oath to be loyal, brave, and true. Mulan remains silent when they get to the truth part.